Hello, we're here at WFX 2014 Dallas, and we're here today with Brad Fortune. He's going to be sharing with us about security in today's church. And Brad, thank you for being here. Would you introduce yourself for us?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me. My name is Brad Fortune, and I'm currently a lieutenant with the Plano Police Department here in Texas. And Plano's a northern suburb of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, probably behind Dallas-Fort Worth and Arlington, the largest of the Metroplex. I've been there 19 years, and recently was the Homeland Security Lieutenant for our department.
Now, how is it that you started reaching out to the House of Worship?
Well, that's interesting. Homeland Security, one of the tenets of it is developing the public-private partnership between local law enforcement and the various private entities. And so reaching out to the community, to the businesses, and the various faith-based organizations is a very important part, making sure that they are prepared for in their facilities to handle any kind of emergency response.
Very nice. Now, as far as church facilities go, alongside with buying some different equipment, what types of feet on the ground do they need to have, say, in a typical weekend?
Well, in a typical weekend, the first thing that churches need to do is understand and have a philosophy of an awareness of the need for security. And so for different churches, it's going to vary based on their budget, based on their resources, based on their personnel that they have. Some of the larger churches will have the ability to maybe hire off-duty officers to work in their parking lots, to work traffic, and to be a visible presence inside the worship service. Other entities might have, in addition to or instead of, a private security, whether it's armed or unarmed, and other organizations may just have internal security of volunteers that are volunteering their time to be the eyes and ears inside the facility. So it really depends on what the budget is for the facilities. You can go from the uniformed officers to volunteers of members of your congregation that are willing to take on that responsibility of just being an extra set of eyes.
Yeah, very nice. Now, with a church, who can they really reach out to in the community as far as the law enforcement to kind of get connected on how to start?
Well, and that's one of the things that we were really promoting in this year's WFX is that they need to really partner with their first responders. So depending on where the organization is, they need to reach out to their local law enforcement. If they don't have a local law enforcement, they can reach out to their county sheriff's office. And as a last resort, they can reach out to the state. Whoever has jurisdiction for their building, that's who they reach out to. And then they can start developing a partnership based on those resources for that first responder to them.
Okay, and are there any sorts of plans in place by the local departments, or is that something that the church has to put together for itself?
Well, the church is usually responsible for developing the plan in partnership with the local law enforcement, because they will come in and provide guidance, because no one knows the facility like the people that run the facility. So you would have an emergency preparedness team or committee that is made up of security personnel, leadership, operations, facilities personnel. And then because they all come from different lenses and to give different perspectives to the plan that influence them, and then they would partner with the local law enforcement to provide guidance as the plan is being developed to ensure that whatever's in the plan meets industry standards and is current.
Now, what resources or what are some basic resources they can reach out for to get that plan started?
So any plan really stands on three legs. The first one is law enforcement side. The second one is the fire department, and the third one is the emergency management department. So emergency management is a kind of a new field. So many local jurisdictions do not have an emergency management department established. Some do, but more so than not, the county will have one, and if not, the state for sure has one. And so the police department will touch on subjects like hostile intruder, active shooter, criminal episodes like burglary, child custody, mentally challenged folks, threats of like bomb threats by telephone or in writing, suspicious packages for deliveries by mail, and arson, cyber crimes. Those are just some of the things that the police perspective would represent in the plan. The fire department, like we always know, is the fire plan. Also medical, if the facility has an AED, what kind of training is involved, where is it located, as well if the facility is large enough to have a hazmat concern. Usually the fire department takes care of those concerns, and so you need to have a plan of action if you have those types of concerns on your facility. And then last would be the emergency management side. Emergency management sides really talk about the natural disasters, so any kind of weather, and that really is dictated by where you live in the country. Plano, Texas probably doesn't have a plan for tsunamis, but California for sure will take care of wildfires. And so you just, based on where you live, the natural occurrences that could have happened, you need to prepare for those different things and have a plan of action in your facility for that. And that also includes infectious diseases.
Okay, and now for the Department of Homeland Security, is there really anything in the material they provide geared towards the house of worship?
Absolutely. So the Department of Homeland Security website has a lot of information. If you just go and just start exploring, they give various examples on a emergency operations plan for houses of worship specifically. The Department of Homeland Security Office of Infrastructure Protection really has started to recognize the need to partner with houses of worship and bring in local responders and be proactive in making sure that they're prepared. So there's a lot of information on the website about that. And also the Department of Homeland Security has an active shooter program that they have been really pushing out. And on their website they have booklets, pamphlets, pocket cards, and there's videos that will kind of explain the 3 tenets of the active shooter program.
Okay.
I would say that the biggest problem are people continually having the belief it can never happen to us and minimizing issues. For instance, like suspicious packages in the facility. You know, the Department of Homeland Security has a campaign of see something, say something. It's really been well known. It's been advertised and really publicized in all the different sporting events around the country. See something, say something, you know, and you want to make sure people recognize that if it warranted you to be suspicious about it, then it warrants you bringing it to someone's attention and let them at least have the opportunity to say, yeah, it's nothing, or let's go ahead and talk to someone else and then bring them in here. Just being aware, keeping an awareness and get your head out of the sand and be aware of your surroundings and be aware that, you know, life has changed, our world is changing, and you need to be aware of what's going on around you. I would say that for churches as a whole, and especially the smaller churches, the best thing they can do is acknowledge the need to be familiar with your facility, be familiar with the resources that you do have, and the vulnerabilities that your facility has. Whether you have a budget or not doesn't mean that you can't be aware of the risks or the vulnerabilities that are created in your facility, and you can have just that awareness will allow members of your congregation to at least be more proactive in recognizing problems or recognizing future issues just by being aware of the vulnerabilities that already exist in their churches. It doesn't cost a lot of money, but just having your eyeballs and your awareness up about all the different things that surround your community, your organization.